All right, and we're live. Let's make sure this is going out okay on the YouTubes. Forney should be joining me shortly. I just, in the evenings right now, I'm pressed for time, so I gotta, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta do this. Is there no sound? Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me, Matt? Nobody can hear me.
Hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. For some reason, it's screwing up. I see what it's doing. For some reason, when I plug the mic in after I do a hangout, like set up the hangout, then it's decided it fucks up the YouTube thing. I can't hear the YouTube.
Yeah, I've had that before. That's why I just leave my microphone plugged in all the time.
All right. So, I have some shocking news for you, Matt. You may want to sit down for this. But it turns out
I'm sitting down.
Licking someone's butthole might make you sick.
You really? What?
I know. So there's an article on newnow.next.com. I'm not going to link it down below on purpose this time because I don't want to send this guy clicks. But for those of you playing at home, if you absolutely must look it up, the title is I've contracted my third. It's third, folks. I've contracted my third gastrointestinal parasite from rimming, and I can't be the only gay man suffering. No, I imagine you can't. Subtitle, I was 10 pounds lighter, and my gastrointestinal and microbiome would have to be completely rebuilt from scratch. Well, that's one way to lose weight. I am trying to shed a few pounds. Maybe I should look into that diet. It's by Jasper Sparrow, whatever.
Does it get better results than the 2 fingers to thinner thighs diet?
I don't know. Wow. What really got me about this article, aside from the fact that it happens to him 3 times, 3 fucking times. Now, that tells me that he's either doing it a lot or these guys he's doing it with aren't even washing their ass. But also, and yeah, we're right with the retard sex here, folks. This is the retard sex hour right from the gate. This is the reason I finally decided to stream.
This is why I'm on.
Yeah, it's holy shit, dude. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole article because life's too short. But the one thing that really struck me in here. Let me see if I can find where it's at. He's talking to some doctor or something like that, and let's see. He's asking if they screen people for these sort of parasites, right? And he's saying to this health agency or whatever the fuck it is, listen, you are one of the largest providers of healthcare to LGBT community in New York City, and I think you could be doing more to educate men who have sex with men about sexually transmitted gastrointestinal parasites and the risk of rimming. Okay, if you have to have it explained to you why you might just get sick from licking somebody's asshole, I mean, enjoy your fucking Darwin Award. We don't need you around.
That's the thing, If an activity causes you such pain, such adverse effects, stop fucking doing it. In fact, there are actually people who are in the comments saying, actually, the top rated comment is from an out gay guy who's been out for 40 years, and even he says, okay, if you keep getting intestinal parasites from eating ass, stop eating ass.
Yeah, no shit. No pun intended. I mean, look, I don't claim to be pure as a driven snow or anything like that. And while I've not eaten ass before, I have fucked women in the ass before. I've gone down door number 2 once or twice. And honestly, it's not necessarily something you should be doing. But I'm pretty sure even at a young, horny, stupid age, like, if one or both of us was having adverse medical effects from it, we'd probably stop fucking doing it.
Yeah. Well, this is something I think Bechtloff, a lot of straight people just simply cannot comprehend how much sex and how much degeneracy gay guys can get up to on a regular basis. Again, I'll keep reiterating this point. Due to the way that men and women are different, there's usually a certain degree of effort involved in, getting women into bed. Whether you're looking to marry a woman and have a family, whether even if you just want to hook up, there's a period where you have to feel each other out. Gay guys don't have this barrier. So if a gay guy moves to a new area of the country, he can, get on Grindr or whatever and have someone blowing him inside of 3 hours. The gay guy wants to be getting blown and fucked in the ass all day, every day, which is why they have all these health problems, because they're having so much more sex than anyone.
Yeah, they're having riskier sex and they're having it more often. That's the thing that caught me. I'm like, look, eating someone's ass, period, is not healthy. But I can't imagine it's like, this is something he does once in a while and he catches 3 fucking different intestinal parasites from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like AIDS, It's like, it's almost impossible for like straight people to get AIDS, because number one, it's not really spread through vaginal penis contact, but also because, straight people just simply aren't having as much sex and with as many different people. I need to find the statistic, but if I recall correctly, the average number of sexual partners the average gay man has in the U.S. is over 1,000 in their lifetime. Over 1,000. The average number of sexual partners a straight man has over the course of his life in the U.S., 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have over 1,000 friends. Like, honestly, Greg Giraldo, the old comedian, I think he passed away like 7 years ago or something like that. He had a bit once where he was talking about, women troubles and stuff. He goes, sometimes I wish I was gay. It'd be so much easier to get laid if I was gay. And you wouldn't have to deal with a woman with all that shit from a woman. He goes, it would be awesome, except, that I'd get fucked in the ass. Aside from that.
And you get giardia from eating ass.
Yeah, well, that too.
Actually, there's a point to this article that we should really bring up, and it's that this guy, he contracts 3 separate intestinal parasites. He contracts giardia twice, and the other one, I can't pronounce it, ento something or other, and his boyfriend also gets it. It's Entomoeba histolytica. Anyway, he contracts this one that I can't pronounce. His boyfriend gets it. His boyfriend is prescribed 1 antibiotic. He goes to a different doctor, this guy who wrote the article, and he gets prescribed 2 antibiotics. And he asks, wait, why am I getting 2 antibiotics when my boyfriend only got 1? And then the doctors fuck up and apologize and say, well, we don't exactly know how to treat this, so we gave you different antibiotics. Gay guys are so degenerate and so disgusting that they're contracting and swapping diseases that are so uncommon that modern medical science has no idea how to deal with them. Like that line from The Gift, the guy talking about some of the diseases I have, they don't even know what they are.
I remember an old Saturday Night Live bit back when Saturday Night Live was watchable where James Bond, got a health checkup and he had 107 venereal diseases. And the doctor's like, I'm confused because some of these are only found in sharks. Yeah, that's about where the gay community's at. I got a super chat here. Dan, what is it? Gigantic. Giganticist. He says, feminists need helicopter rides just like communists. Yeah. I mean, what really got me, where I really was like, okay, I got to talk about this again, is that he's mad at everyone but himself. Why didn't somebody tell me licking someone's shithole might make me sick? I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of obvious.
I guess people kind of just assumed you knew, and at the very least would have figured it out after about the second time, at least. No, it took you 3.
And this guy is almost certainly shaving years off his life with his antibiotic regimens, because he talks about how the first round of antibiotics destroyed his gut flora, which opened him up to a whole host of other diseases and other problems, People who don't live like this, they'll be lucky if they see 50.
Yeah, the article ends with, tell your friends about this gross story you read on the internet, and maybe, just maybe, think twice before you chow down on another dude's ass. Well, yeah, maybe. How about that? Maybe.
Yes, exactly. And as I was commenting earlier, the gay guy in the comments who said just stop eating ass. The top rated response to that comment was like, "Oh, so this guy should just be celibate, huh?" Imagine existing in a world where you think not being able to eat out, stick your tongue in another man's anus is being celibate.
Yeah, the guy's like, well, I guess he should just be celibate. Well, yeah, maybe the fuck he should. Okay.
Yeah, someone's gonna come and tell me I can't lick out someone else's asshole tonight. I'll be fine with that.
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, geez. Same guy sends me a super chat, says, "Purge the fags in the name of the emperor." And then before that, Akashic Soldier says, "You got two super chats, bitch." Okay, what is that, Australian dollars?
Yeah, so it's worth about 2 cents.
I was going to say, you had me all excited for a second there. $100. Oh, it's Australian bucks.
Well, I'm kidding, but thanks to the super chat.
Yes, I can get a steak at Outback with it. That's the only place you can use Australian super bucks.
You can also go hunting some emus.
But yeah, that's
to be serious, yeah, that super chat is worth about $81 US. So yeah, thanks for that, gentlemen. Really? You're quite generous. Thanks for that super chat. Thank you. Actually, I don't know why I'm thanking you, since it's going to Bechtloff, but
well, I never know sometimes with these with the foreign currencies. I get like a super chat, and or I see super chat sometimes. I'm like, man, and then I'm like, oh wait, no. It kind of reminds me when I was a little kid. My dad went to Brazil, one of his Navy trips, and he brought me back all this Brazilian money, and this was like 94. And I mean, he brought me back like probably a couple $1,000s of Brazilian money. And I was all like, what is all this money? He's like, oh yeah, that's like $40 or something.
Well, the super chat, it's key to based on your IP address of what country you're in, regardless of your actual ethnicity or whatever your bank is from. Like, if I try to send a super chat to you right now, it's going to come out in Hungarian forints, even though my account is American. One of my readers, Waffle Evil, I think, he sent me a super chat last week during a stream. He's Romanian, but he was using a Russian virtual private server, so his donation was in rubles.
Huh. I didn't realize that. I would have thought maybe it would go with your AdSense account. I don't know. See, I haven't sent any super chats yet. I only recently hooked up my AdSense account too. So
yeah, I tried to send a super chat during Roosh's Trad Thought stream last week, but the problem is you can only do it through a credit card. And the last time I gave Google my credit card, it got ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck that shit. I'll wait for them to do a bank transfer option or something that's less, that won't result in me being out a credit card for a month.
Let's see. I don't know why more places don't let you just use a PayPal, because PayPal's pretty secure.
Well, I'm not worried about using PayPal for stuff like this. I don't use it for anything like public related anymore since Charlottesville. I can't, since PayPal banned everyone. Did you get banned or? I'm not using it. Let's just say I'm not using it.
Somebody says in the chat, what do you think of people getting pissed off at that rapper for saying I don't vibe with queers in a song? Well, I don't know who that is. I haven't listened to rap in quite a few years. But I mean, that used to be how rap was. Rap was very homophobic. I mean, now it's turned into Macklemore being all like, don't say faggot, that's mean. But yeah, the rappers used to not jive with the homos. Contracted my third gastroenteritis. Good Lord. And just the whining in it. It's like
feel sorry for me.
3 times, and he's mad at everyone else.
Well, that is with these people, you know. I mean, you know, it's like faggots who blame Reagan for the AIDS epidemic. Oh, he didn't warn us in time. He didn't allow AIDS awareness to be funded. Yeah, maybe you should have stopped fucking each other in the ass without condoms so often. Do you really need a PSA to tell you that that's a bad thing? Oh wait, yeah, of course you do.
Well, at this point, I mean, you get the fucking bug chasers where they're actively trying to find it.
This is why this is why I believe homosexuality should be reclassified as a mental illness. You have to be sick in the head in order to think that having sex with tons of people fucking in the ass and licking their asses is a good thing. And even despite all the harm it does to your body, you won't stop doing it.
Yeah, and as I've said numerous times, it's you know. It's even a question of all the time you hear people defending like gays and you know all this deviant shit, and they'll be like, "Well, straight people do fucked up things too." You know, straight people who have anal sex. Yes, but not all of them, and the ones that do, not nearly to the same extent. And likewise, yeah, you can point to various weird kinky shit straight people get up to. But generally, they're not parading down the goddamn street in their fetish gear.
Well, you know,
there is a difference between There's basically a difference between your worst straight person and your average homo.
Well, this was statistically measured out. I don't have it on me, but it has been statistically shown that gay men are far more likely to engage in paraphilias than straight people. Like, for example, coprophilia, which is you know scat play, pooping on each other. Something like 8% of men either do it or want to do it, versus less than 1% of straight men.
Ugh. And again, that's that's 8 times as much.
Like, you remember that video that was circulating a year ago, like Up in the Air or whatever, that gay sex video that YouTube refused to ban for like a couple weeks straight? That's not an aberration. That is how gay people actually behave.
Yeah, the media constantly wants to paint gay people as this. Oh, they're just like straight people. It's just gay, you know. It's no real difference. But it doesn't pan out that way. It never pans out that way. You know, maybe you can find this rare exception here or there. You know, but it just doesn't pan out that fucking way. So the same guy who sent me the Australian bucks here, he sends me another Australian 30. He said that should make it a straight 100. What are you going to buy or put it towards? I don't know. Probably just put it towards a few bills right now. I got to clean some stuff up from. I had a rough month there.
That is to be specific, $24.31 US. So thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. But that probably, once I can cash out some of the AdSense bucks, it'll just. I
believe you can cash out now with this. I don't know what.
I think it has to be over 100.
It is over 100. So if you hadn't met it before, you've met it today.
Yeah, which is good. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I hate bitching about, personal problems that much. But I left a good part-time job for a job that was supposed to be full-time, and then just never gave me any fucking hours and kept me on call all the time. And it's only this past week that I've been working full-time again. Oh, this dog is fucking with me. Just down below, just gnawing on my fucking leg, trying to get me to wrestle with him. I ought to beat your ass, you little brat. I could replace you with that neighbor dog. He's way more friendly. And he just wanders around the neighborhood. I could scoop him up again.
Davis Arini just sent this to me on Skype. This piece of... Okay, we do have some straight degeneracy here. And I'll read this message. There was a straight couple on 4chan posting pictures of their pinworms. How much they love them. He posted a picture with pinworms on his tongue.
Okay,
pinworms are.
I assume it's some sort of parasite, but
they're parasites that are found in people's anuses.
Oh my god! Dare I fucking Google? are being image search pinworms.
I remember he once showed me an image. I think this is last year sometime, and I remember this because it was so disgusting. It was seared into my memory forever. Of this was like from some porno shoot, like an anal sex porno shoot, and the director accidentally caught the female porn star having pinworms on her anus. Like this had ended up in the final movie.
Ew. Oh God! What the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, man. I mean, years ago, and this was what helped me really kick the porn habit for more or less good. I was watching a video of this chubby chick getting fucked in the ass, and with each thrust, like fecal juice kept coming out of her ass and boiling up on the guy's dick. And I saw this, and I immediately shut it off, and I had to hold back the vomit. And I was like, yeah, this is not taking me anywhere good. I quit.
Yeah, I quit it a while back. Because first of all, I mean, I knew it was wrong, and then I also realized like it just became like a time sink when I was like heavy into it. Like I kind of cut back, and then I finally realized like, no, you got to just go cold turkey, or you're gonna fall back into it.
Yeah. That's the weird thing too. Is like when you get into watching porn regularly, it suddenly starts to become like you have to search for the perfect scene or the perfect way to get off.
Yeah, because you're not paying for it. I've said on here before. I will freely admit there was one time I paid for porn online. That I paid to get into a site, and that was that Liz Vicious site. And I paid for like how they get you with that like they have that like $1 for a day, hoping you forget to cancel or whatever. I just did that, and it might have been like $5, and then I just downloaded everything I could real quick. But that's the only time I've actually paid. Every other time I was looking for free stuff. And obviously when you're looking for free stuff, you're trying to like find stuff. And yeah, like you said, you're trying to find just the right thing because you become like a fucking drug addict. You got to get just the right high, man. You got to get to just the right weed dealer.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody says I was in the middle of eating dinner and now I'm not, and it's getting cold. What, that guy's ass is getting cold?
Those pinworms are getting cold?
Somebody says, what do you do for work, Bechtloff? I do warehouse work. That's all I'll get into. I've done, kind of blue collar work like that my whole life.
He's lying. He's actually Batman.
Yep. I go around educating people on why you shouldn't eat shit. You'd think it would be easier than it would. There's a comedian, and I can't remember his name, but if you really want to look him up, and I'm too lazy to do it, he played the zombie named Randall in the cartoon Ugly Americans. But he was funny as hell. He had a bit one time where he talked about like how he would start watching medical shows because he just was morbidly fascinated, and he's watching a show called like The Weirdest Things Found in People's Bodies, which of course, the top 10 is just stuff people put up their ass. And he talks about how this doctor goes on camera and just goes, I cannot emphasize enough why you should not put foreign objects into your anus. And the comedian's like, and then the doctor just sighed and looked away as if he knew no one was going to listen to him. And he's like, I just imagine this doctor wants to go around from school to school having presentations on this. And he has like a table of objects, and he's like, a jelly jar, a light bulb, some mice. What do these things have in common? I had to fish them out of somebody's greasy asshole. Why do you shove it in there until it disappears? Can't you leave an inch hanging out for when you're done disgracing yourself and your family?
Yeah, it reminds me of there was this columnist for Vice years ago called the column called "Bollocks to the Hippocratic Oath" by this female British doctor who talked about all the weird shit she saw working in an emergency room. And one article was dedicated to all the shit she fished out of people's asses in the emergency room. And then there was another article about all the stuff she fished out of men's dicks. There was a guy who actually...
That's when you're getting into Hellraiser shit.
There was a guy who actually, he would go fishing and with live maggots, And while he was waiting for the fish to get a bite, he would take one of the maggots and like put them up his dick hole. And he apparently kept doing this so often that eventually he went to the doctor complaining about pain in his prostate, thinking his prostate cancer. And as it turns out, there was an entire colony of maggots inside his bladder.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
There was also the guy who decided to, in order to make his
that's when Pinhead comes out and he's like, "We have such sights to Jesus," and then just walks out of the room backwards, just backs up out of the room.
There's also the story of the homeless guy who had drank so much he completely destroyed his stomach lining, so that he would immediately start shitting blood all over the streets. And in order to keep himself from shitting all over blood, he would stuff newspapers and wadded up toilet paper and just about any paper product he could up his ass, which she had to fish out while he was hitting on her, actually.
Well, I mean, at least you got to admire his confidence. I mean, most guys would feel weird hitting on a chick if they had a zit. This guy, nothing's breaking his game.
He got an unbreakable frame.
Yeah, we could all learn something from him. Of course, he could learn something from the rest of society, but that's also.
And who could forget the story of the guy who tried to make his erection last longer by pumping it full of liquid concrete?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they had to get it out by using a fork or something to individually scrape every last bit of it out of his urethra.
Oh God. Oh God. There are times I think that I'm a really kinky, weird dude. Because I got a few kinks. I've played a little teacher student in my day, I've there's maybe been some ropes, some handcuffs involved on a particularly ornery night. But I've never needed to call an ambulance. I've never nothing more than perhaps a scrape or a bruise ever happened to anybody in my escapades. I'm a little too freaky for the normal people, but damn, I'm nowhere near weird enough for a FetLife profile.
Here's a comment from the chat that sums this up. This is from Fanami. He says, "Just when I thought the retard sex couldn't get worse, I find out there is no floor."
Retard sex is an infinite resource. This is true. It's just when there is no floor. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought I was kind of a degenerate, but when I discovered all this shit online, and some shit people have told me, I'm pretty vanilla. I'm a boring missionary sex guy in comparison. Like, I had a friend of mine I knew in college who admitted to me that like the year before, he had tried to slice open his dick with a penknife while masturbating because he thought that having pain would like heighten his orgasm. But instead, he ended up having to go to the hospital and have them reattach it.
All right, you want pain. You can't just like hit yourself with a belt. You have to you can't think like this is permanent damage. Like, are you that fucking stupid? You can't just be like, pain. Maybe I'll pinch myself, or maybe I'll slice my dick open with a penknife. It just seems like, like that's like, do you try to kill a housefly with a shotgun? I mean,
my personal favorite Trevor Trove of stories, aside from the Bollocks and the Hippocratic Oath series, there used to be this website called College Sex Advice that had a list of masturbation horror stories. And my favorite one from there was the guy who tried to shove a wire down his urethra because he heard it's how Arabs masturbate.
Was it David Carradine? Was it him that, like, I remember one celebrity, I think it was David Carradine, where they thought he hung himself and his publicist went out and said, no, he would never do that. It was autoerotic asphyxiation. And I just remember thinking, like, first of all, God help me if I reach the stage where good old meat and potatoes get the poison out jerking it isn't good enough. But I'd like to think that if I ever crossed that line and accidentally killed myself that way, that my loved ones would just pull my pants up and tell everyone I was sad. I mean, like, we were all better off. Why would the publicist do that? Why would he think that's less shameful?
Yeah, other fun masturbation stories from that page called Sex Advice. There was a woman who tried to jill herself off with a TV remote control, but ended up frying it.
Oh, geez. Arini says in the chat, "Who the hell thinks passing out is sexy?" Dude, you'd be amazed at how many chicks are like, choke me. Like,
you gotta do it the right way though. Like, don't do it in like while you're trying to choke off the windpipe. There's a specific artery, the carotid artery, that you have to press on. You press that one, and within 7 seconds, she'll actually pass out. But you want to do it like, for 5 or 4 seconds. That's when you get the high of the oxygen being cut off from the brain.
Somebody took a screen cap from one of the Jason movies, and I don't remember which one because I'm not an expert on Jason. I'm more of a Freddy guy. I should make a meme, the Chad Freddy versus the Virgin Jason. But it's like Jason like is reaching through the window and grabbing this chick by the neck, and somebody put under it like, "Choke me, daddy," and then Jason's like, "Wait, what?"
Too extreme for Jason. Motherfucker kills people at Crystal Lake every year, but choking is way too extreme for this guy.
Well, Jason was the original Thought Patrol. So he says, "I like my big brain being well supplied with oxygen."
Well, some of these girls, honestly,
president. That show is SJW Autism on steroids. What is that? Is that some anti-Trump shit on Comedy Central, on Communist Central?
Well, to be fair, responding to Arini's point, some girls, frankly, they're a lot more tolerable when their brains are deprived of oxygen.
Again, I'm not going to name names, but over the last year, there's somebody I met online that I might have pursued if they weren't far away. But, there was a little bit of grab ass going on in the DMs. And, again, I think I'm kinky. And she's like, you choke me. And I'm like, God damn. Back in my day, am I going to have to choke a bitch was a threat. But that person talking about the SJW cartoon, I assume it's on Comedy Central. I don't know. But I was just thinking of that the other day because some shitty Comedy Central show is getting tons of video ads on YouTube right now. I just remember thinking, like, man, that used to be my go-to channel. Like, if I was looking for something on TV, Comedy Central used to be the first place I checked. Boy, that ain't true anymore. I don't think there's a thing on there. I don't even watch South Park anymore, so there's not a thing on there worth watching. Choking is murder by accident waiting to happen. So you got to have a safe word. But you can't have a safe word if you're getting choked. Well, this you have to have like a hand signal or something.
Well, this is what I said.
Like, tap out like wrestling.
Well, this is what I said, geniuses. You don't do it for more than 7 seconds. They think that's what it is. Like, do it for 3 or 4 seconds.
Might want to look that up, too, before you might want to double check on Google and Bing. Make sure your facts are straight. Definitely. One of the funniest things I read, and I read it in like a dentist office or some shit where I was waiting. It was somewhere where there was a Cosmo I was reading, some waiting room. And I'm flipping through it because I'm that bored. And there was an article in there on how this chick had like a rape fantasy. So she wanted her boyfriend to like, go ahead and go through that. But she freaked out halfway through and wanted him to actually stop, but he didn't know. So he kept going. So he kind of accidentally raped her. And she's all like, this has caused a lot of emotional strain in our relationship. And I just remember thinking like, gotta have a safe word. Gotta have a safe word. But I just remember reading that. I'm thinking like, that poor guy, he probably feels worse about it than her. And he was just trying to. Somebody says, "Yep, Comedy Central was the shit once." Yeah, now it's just shit. Netflix comedy specials are just as fucking terrible. Well, there's basically no good fucking comedians right now. Even the ones that used to be good have turned to shit.
Well, the other thing too is like, they can't fucking perform anymore without being accused of being heteronormative or discriminatory or some shit. That's why people like Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock have just given up.
Oh, I can't imagine trying to. But I mean, you almost have to go right wing because anyone left to center is going to be offended at anything other than Trump's dumb. LOL. Arini says, dumb bitches think consequences are things that happen to other people. Basically, I mean, again, this guy, he's doing this shit and he thinks, oh, I can't believe I got sick from it. Didn't learn fucking 3 times it happened to him.
It's like there's a constitutional right to eating ass that he has to exercise.
Well, I mean,
the Declaration of Independence declares that all men have the right to life, liberty, and eating ass.
Well, even if that were true, that just means the government's not going to kick your door in when it happens. It doesn't mean you might not get sick from it. The Constitution has nothing, bacteria don't recognize the Constitution. Let's see. Here, a woman wanted to be kidnapped off the street and get raped, but people called the cops and got busted. I can imagine that happening. You try to do some role play in public with your boyfriend, and the cops get called. Oh.
God, this is a beautiful live stream.
It is. I think it's one of my best.
I think you should just forego calling it Tuesday Night Live for the Bechtloff and just call it the Retard Sex Hour.
I think that's how I advertised it on Gab. I was just like, it's the Retard Sex Hour. Because I knew that's what right out the gate, that's what we're going with. I don't have anything else to talk about. I mean, there's the State of the Union tonight, but now I'm on such an early first shift schedule. I can't even watch it, let alone be on your live stream. Which, by the way, Forney, the only coverage you need, he'll be doing a live stream right afterwards.
Yes, 10:30 p.m. tonight Eastern time, 9:30 Central, 7:30 Pacific. I will be on with David Serini, Artistic Layman, and William Rome is he's busting out of Facebook jail for this particular moment. But yes, we're going to be talking about the State of the Union address after it happens. So 10:30 p.m. Eastern in about it's about 3 hours from now. So check it out, kiddies.
Oh, some people want to join us here. Luke saying send me a link. He's got that Jason pick too. But yeah, I knew that's exactly what I was going to be going with right off the gate. I mean, like I said, I did hear that the Democrats were supposed to bring some dreamers, like some undocumented people, like as their audience members. And I mean, it'd be great if ICE just started arresting them right there. I mean, ideally, they would also arrest the Democrats for aiding and abetting criminals.
That could actually just happen because
but I think they might actually arrest the people there. That would be the tits.
Representative Paul Gosar actually tweeted out that he's called in response to all these illegal aliens going to the State of the Union. He's actually called ICE and told them about it. And then Jeff Flake got pissed off about it. That little pussy.
So Jeff Flake is aiding and abetting criminals.
And then Gosar actually responded to Flake when he said this, like, yeah, that's why you've been hounded out of office, buddy. Like, that's literally what he said to him.
Good. I love that I said as soon as I said during before he even had the nomination, I'm like, maybe Trump's going to get the Republican Party to suddenly sprout a fucking sack. Their balls will finally drop. Oh, we got Arini and Artistic Layman joining us here for the ass eating hour.
Hey, you know what? That story I told you about with the pinworms and the couple on 4chan, I actually downloaded the image of the whole damn thing. And I was debating whether I should share it with Forney or Common Filth. And ultimately, it was so absolutely horrible that I said, no, I'm not going to subject them to this image. So describing it's bad enough.
So this is worse than the picture of the pinworms you showed me on the woman's ass?
This is them writing extensively about how much they love them because they tickle. Voluntarily reinfecting themselves with pinworms. They enjoy the parasite.
Just remember, people, well, this excludes Arini, but because he's Canadian, but just remember, our taxes are going to pay for their health care.
Yeah, here in Canada, twice as many taxes go to pay for their health care. It's absolutely amazing just how much modern people do not want any consequences. You know, like back when we were in high school, it was every idiot saying, why they gotta judge me for dressing like a goth man? It's because you look like a fucking idiot. You want to get a job, dress like a normal person. And now it's like, well, this is just our way of making love, man. We dress up as dogs and walk down the street.
Well, as I've often said, people tickles on the way down, tickles on the way out. That's fantastic. As I've often said, anytime people were like, well, I don't want the government in my bedroom, I'm like, yeah, me, I don't want that for you either. I also don't want your bedroom on my fucking front lawn. I don't want your bedroom on Main Street. No, I don't want the bedroom police to kick down everyone's door and check everyone's assholes for pinworms and cum.
Yeah, this is
that's not a good use of the government, but
this is why San Francisco had to pass a law telling all the gay dudes that were going around naked to they had to carry a towel with them if they were to sit down on any public surface. This is why.
Oh, jeez. Like, I mean, just put your fucking pants on when you go out. Like, I mean, I've had lazy days where, you know, I was off and I didn't feel like fucking doing anything, and I'm like, screw it. But I at least put like pajama bottoms on if I go get the mail, okay? Because there's gotta have some fucking civilizational standards here, people.
I know, but this is San Francisco. See, there's no law against nudity in San Francisco. And when the gay guys found this out, now there is a law against having an erect penis in public. So yeah. So what the gays do to show that they're just like us and love is love is they'll take a tie, like a suit tie, and they'll wrap it around their junk so that their dick is half erect. And they'll walk around with their half erect tied up dick sticking out and pointing at all the little kitties.
I was going to say they get their erections down by thinking of Margaret Thatcher.
I'm surprised they don't just wear those fucking cock cages. You know, like all the Democrats wear.
Legal where they do it.
The retard sex hour right from the get-go.
Retard sex is it's an infinite resource. You can always go one more level down.
As I said, we live in a world where if you open the box, you'd shock Pinhead. We have such sites to show Cenobites at this point.
It's retard sex all the way down.
We have such sites to show you. And then Dan Savage is, no, Pinhead. I have such sites to show you. Let me show you my pinworm collection.
I miss the good old days of 2005 when I'd have a buddy come over. I'd like, hey, check this out. And I'd play a video called football.avi, which is a woman squeezing a Nerf football out of herself. And he'd be like, oh, that's terrible. Where the hell did you find that? These days, that's par for the course. Like,
I am old enough
China is task number one on your trip to becoming a cam whore these days.
I am old enough to remember when, hell, you didn't even see like dudes coming chicks on porns. Like that was foreboding. Like you didn't even see that in a porn. Maybe he came in her mouth and that was it. Like that. Good God, I'm so old. I'm sitting here like back in my day in 90s porn. Only 90s kids remember.
It's funny. I actually just finished editing a book today that was in part a digression on these topics. The guy talks about, in part, the increasing prevalence of faux incest porn and babysitter porn.
Well, I think part of 40 when we had that big live stream when you and Craig Langley popped by my hotel when I was in town for that convention. This was what, 3 years ago now, 4 years,
Probably
something like that.
Closer to 4 years.
And I mentioned that I think part of the reason porn got so, let's be polite and call it niche, is that there's such a prevalence of free porn out there that if you want somebody to subscribe to your channel, it either has to be basically just around this one girl and hope you get the thirsty fucking orbiters or whatever, or it has to be very, very specific. Like it has to be this niche thing. Like, you know, I want to see a site where some white girl blows 30 Black Panthers.
Like the animals?
No, it was no.
Actually, it's funny.
That's one of Aurora Snow's epic. That's one of the things Aurora Snow will have to explain to her poor son.
Actually, it's funny. To respond to Coriolanus Rex in the chat, he says, "Well, who wouldn't want to fuck the babysitter?" And that's the funny thing. The book talks about, he thinks the babysitter porn thing is just a fantasy of sad middle-aged men, because who the hell fantasizes about the babysitter? It's not particularly common. I mean, you've got people fantasize about their teachers, obviously, and nurses, and women fantasize about like men in military garb and police. But babysitters, like, what?
I can honestly say the nurse thing is never a fantasy I had. But that's because hospitals are horrifying. They're these terrible places where sick people go to die that smell like urine and death. There's nothing sexy about that. And then most nurses for like the past 10 years are just horrifying hood rats. I noticed that like 10 years ago easily, where because I working all these odd shifts all my life. I saw all this daytime TV where they're advertising these nursing schools where it's like, hey, are you otherwise unemployable? Come be a nurse. And I remember thinking like, man, that's not going to be good in like 10 years. And here we are. And you see like reports of some ghetto hood rat, big fat black nurse that let some, World War II veteran die screaming in his room. Nurses are a fucking mess now, man. The only upside is at least most of them can probably find a vein in a hurry.
Yeah, the whole damn world's turning into this Pareto principle, isn't it? Like the porn stars have to go after that 20% of the market or that 2% of the market that's actually paying money, be it the thirsty guys or the perverts. There's just that article that came out where this woman was crying because she fell in love with a hookup from Tinder. And then she gets back on Tinder and she has 2,000 matches after 6 weeks. It's just the Pareto principle is completely dominating everything.
Somebody asked if he can call in, so I was just like, sure. So I sent him a link. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's somebody wanting to show us their pinworm collection. I don't know.
Have you already done a rant on Dan Savage?
Have I ranted on Dan Savage?
Some people might not know who he is.
Dan Savage is like a really, really good example of why societies used to look down on faggots. I remember it was like 10 years ago, or maybe it was even like the 2000 campaign, where Gary Bauer, which is one of the hyper religious conservative Republicans, I think he founded like Family Research Council or some shit. So of course Dan Savage hates him because you're not my dad, Gary. So Dan Savage apparently like went to his office and licked all the doorknobs to try and get him sick, which is probably like a federal offense. He probably should have gone to prison for that. I mean, that's when you're dealing with somebody who's running for the presidency and you're attempting any kind of harm on them, that's sort of taken seriously in this country.
Well, he actually did nearly go to prison for not that stunt, but this was during the Iowa caucus. Gary Bauer was running for president, and Dan Savage went and illegally voted in the Iowa caucus. So he did get punished for that. He didn't get jail time, but he was forced to pay a fine.
Yeah, he's quite the piece of shit.
He's a one-man argument for returning homosexuality to the DSM.
I mean,
Hey, he's got that disgust thing on his nose. You notice that?
He's so vile. He gets me to like side with Rick Santorum every time he's fighting with him. I hate that neocon cocksucker.
He's got that permanent disgust look on his face.
He brings shame to the name Savage. There are many great Savages like Michael Savage. Dan Savage brings shame upon the name. And yeah, I know Michael Savage isn't really named Michael Savage. I don't care.
He has more right to it at this point.
I think Virile, you called in. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get done with the retard sex.
No, we're not.
You might be waiting still.
Yeah, you might be. You might be waiting until the next show. I don't know.
Okay, well then I wanted to bring something to your attention real quick. I was just wondering if any of you have heard of it. I believe they're called the Luftwaffen Division.
The what now?
It's it's basically German for atomic bomb division.
Okay.
Okay, so because this is the thing is just that I just heard about this recently. When people talk about government plants like that make these neo-Nazi kind of organizations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always been the joke that half of them are.
Well, I'll tell you this. This one seems like one of those because it's okay. So there's only apparently about 80 people supposedly in this thing, and it's already caused about 5 deaths, and these are just from lone wolves people. Like it's essentially, and here's the crazy thing about it. If you look them up. Like they like their website shows up #1 on Google, which I didn't click on, so I didn't because I wouldn't want to touch that with a 12-foot internet pole. But I just thought it was crazy that YouTube put this as the first Google result, and it only has 80 people, and on top of that, they've already caused about 7 deaths, and they're all lone wolf people.
Okay, so this is let me see if I get you right here. This is a group in Germany that I guess is kind of a
No, it's in America.
Oh, it's in America.
They're a neo-Nazi.
Okay, so they're a neo-Nazi group in America, and they've killed people already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Supposedly, this seems like false flagging to me.
Wait. If they've killed people or if people have died in related manners, then...
No. Okay, so, this is what I'm saying, is just that they're basically a primarily internet organization, and it seems like they basically, like, in my opinion, they seem like... Okay.
Yeah, but has anybody actually died in connection with this?
That's what I'm saying, is just that people have died...
Oh, no, you aren't saying it. You were talking about something else. Have people died in connection with it?
Yeah,
Yes, but basically, that's what they discovered later. Like, at first, they thought these were just lone wolf attacks. But now they're connecting it to this website.
I don't know. I mean, I have to imagine if there was anything to this that I'd have heard about it by now because certain people would never shut up about it.
Well, no, but it's
if some dumbass accidentally but supposedly accidentally run over a communist chick and we never hear the end of it.
Wait. Luke's got the Wikipedia page open. Their motto is "Join your local Nazis."
Yes, I'm saying
this sounds
a Nazi website. Like I didn't go to the what? Yeah, I just went to the Wikipedia page too, but there are listed people
for the record
members.
I have several. They're not the Wikipedia article is the first thing that shows up on my Google result. Okay, you might have clicked.
Website showed up on mine. I don't know if it was taken down, but
this thing reads like a retarded 5th generation Xerox of like the Order in the Turner Diaries.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
if they're not feds, then frankly they are doing us a favor by existing because they're luring off all the idiots. Like if you join a group whose motto is "Join your local Nazis," you kind of deserve what's coming to you.
Yeah, this strikes me as feds.
I mean, yeah, like if you look on the Wikipedia page, if you look at their goals, one of them is literally to take over the United States by guerrilla warfare and terrorism. That's apparently what it literally says. Which again, like when I checked Google, the website came up, and again, I didn't want to touch.
Same thing we do every
I'll
night.
be honest, I'm not reading feds with this because of how incredibly incompetent they are, and the fact
I don't know. The government's pretty fucking dumb half the time.
No, like the killings they're associated with is one of their members converted to Islam because he wanted to shoot up a gay night bar or something, and he got into a fight with his fellow.
Well, you're allowed to do that when you're Muslim.
Murdered each other.
I don't know. This seems so insanely dumb. I mean, it's like, the same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the United States.
Yeah, anyone who unironically calls themselves a Nazi is an idiot. I mean, even the Nazis didn't call themselves the Nazis. That's a backronym that was invented by a certain group of people whose names echo. Join your local Nazis.
I think if they were actually government plants, then we'd see them in the news a hell of a lot more often, and they would be more about the propaganda rather than shooting one another over bitch slap fights. I think this is just more of the autistic youth of America. At least they're not, eating pinworms.
But but again, like I guess what I would counter that is that at least from reading through the Wikipedia page, they say that they agree a lot with the alt-right, but that they're pussy keyboard warriors and that they need to join their local Nazi group.
Yeah,
I don't know. That sounds like some Fed shit to me. That sounds like
they're Fed shit.
That's a pretty common opinion among certain sectors of the fringe right. Like Iron March hates the alt-right for this reason.
That's actually where it says they started on Iron March. Here's the thing. If they are a Fed plant, then why aren't they being used? This is front page news 101. This is exactly what, except that these people are such obvious jokes that if CNN tried to report on this, they'd get laughed out of town. And we're talking about...
I don't know. I mean, CNN.
These are the guys that report about...
I've seen them try worse.
Relationship.
The Cuck News Network.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google them again real quick because I swear the first thing that came up when I tried to look them up was their web from that Washington Post article I found them on.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about this, and it doesn't really sound like something to pay any attention to.
I've seen them before. I think I saw their Twitter account or something like that.
And of course, they're allowed on Twitter, but I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't you think that's weird? So you don't see their website at all, Davis?
No, I do. It's like the fourth or fifth link. What I'm saying is your Google results are based upon your previous browsing history. It's completely customized for you. What you see is not what I see. So if you've been looking into something, like if I Google Matt Forney, I'm going to see his website at the very top because I click on it all the time. If I delete all my cookies and then Google again, I might get a different result.
Well, to be fair, I've done my own site. Well, I control my Google results pretty tightly, so it's the top thing on a clean Google install as well, which is a good thing, and it also puts me several steps ahead of certain individuals like Richard Spencer, where literally every entry on his front page of his Google results is negative, aside from his Twitter page.
So yeah, I genuinely think that this is just a half dozen idiots with an internet connection. Yeah, like if it's a Fed op, like the Fed is pretty incompetent, but they're not this incompetent. Okay, they'd be directing their members to, I don't know, march on Charlottesville with tiki torches and rile up the SJWs in a town that's controlled by the left. Wait, didn't I say I was going to stop bitching about the alt-right?
Sorry, I brought it up. My bad.
You're not. You said you were going to stop bitching. You're not bitching. You're making fun of.
Fair enough. Yeah, like these guys are just too. They're not useful. They're too small and they're too completely out of control. Like they're funny, honestly, when you look at them. It's like the high school anarchy club.
Well, yeah, that's why I gotta let the dog out. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Man, that Bechtloff guy's a real asshole. Nah, but I don't know. I these guys really aren't worth paying attention to. If the closest they'll ever get to relevance is maybe they'll eventually stage some terrorist attack that results in the entire thing getting shut down. But who cares?
Yeah, but do you think the only because what I thought was weird about this is just how extreme they were, and that a place like the Daily Stormer, they're only on places like Tor now, right?
The Daily Stormer has been above ground for a while, but last night they just lost a dailystormer.red was where they were. They just lost that, but they'd had that for 2 months. So
okay, well that's what I mean. They've had problems getting hosted, and I don't understand how the fuck this website got hosted.
Well, they're not a threat to anyone. The Daily Stormer is a massively popular website. It's the most popular alt-right site out there. It's one that actually has significant normie reach because objectively, Andrew Anglin is a pretty funny guy. And he also is not an actual neo-Nazi. He just does that shit for irony, as he himself has said. These guys are these Adam Wofford clowns. They're allowed to be on Twitter. They're allowed to have a website because they're not a threat. They're not going to convert anyone. They're not going to get anyone to join up with their goals. All they're going to do is make asses of themselves. And one of their psycho members will go and kill someone and end up getting a life term. They're not a threat to the system in the same way the Daily Stormer is.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find.
It's not always the Illuminati. Okay, when I had the fact that the reason my Twitter account is restricted is simply because I was doing that Sarkeesian movie, and a whole bunch of SJWs decided to flag my Twitter. There was no organized conspiracy. It's just SJWs, and then some Twitter managers said, "Yeah, fuck this guy," and that's it. Most of the conspiracies are very small. And so what it boils down to, Anglin has pissed off a lot of people. These guys haven't pissed anyone off because who gives a shit?
Holy hell!
Yeah, to put it another way, if anti-Semitism didn't exist, the Jews would have to invent it.
Yeah, but okay, but here's one of the crazier stories, and I'm looking this up. I'm trying to find this right now. But one of the craziest stories around this group is that apparently there was 3 of them that were planning to bomb a nuclear plant in Florida. And honestly, I don't know how true this is because I'm still trying to find this.
I accuse the alt-right of cosplaying with their stupid rallies. Okay, the thing is, these guys are a whole other level of cosplay. These are the guys
I agree,
with duct tape wandering around the anime convention. All right, these guys are so fucking ridiculous. Apparently, Young Turks has reported on them. You have to be only the Young Turks would bother reporting because this is so retarded.
Young Turks?
They're not going to bomb the nuclear plant. We all know that. Listen, Richard Spencer actually is going to have a tiki torch rally and piss people off, and there's going to be events happening. Right? These guys are they are complete morons that can't tell the difference between Call of Duty and real life.
And again, they probably read a little too much of the Turner Diaries.
I mean, that's actually my point is that this seems like point for point what the Turner Diaries was about.
There was an actual organization that formed based on the Turner Diaries, the Order, in the 80s. They were their biggest get was assassinating the Jewish left-wing radio host Alan Berg in 1984, I believe it was. But there's always going to be groups like this. It's not a big deal. It's not necessarily evidence of a conspiracy. There's always going to be some retard who think that the way to solve the world's ills is to start a fucking guerrilla war in the name of the white race or some horseshit like that. As long as you don't associate with them and keep away from them, they're not a big deal.
All right, caller. Anything else? And we'll bring on another caller.
No, that was it. All right,
man. Thanks for hopping in. Bring in one more caller and then wrap this up probably because I have to get to bed soon because I have to get up at 4:45 in the morning. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not happy about this. Once I'm done training at this new job, I get to go to second shift, so can't wait to be done training. Because 4:45. I mean, back when I was on second, that's 45 minutes after I used to go to sleep. I mean, even the last job I had for like 5 years was first shift, but it was 9 to 5:30. I mean, I didn't have to get up till 8. Ugh.
Like second shift, they'll have you working from like 5 to midnight or something.
Yep. Hey, John, what's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I just wanted to say, I don't know if you saw it in the chat, you were talking about nurses. This is not a joke. Who remembers Tawana Brawley?
Well, I wasn't alive for that, but I know who she is. I know what she did.
It rings a bell. I can't place the name, though.
She was the one who perpetrated that race house back in the 80s where she claimed that white men gang raped her and wrote racial slurs and feces on her body. And Al Sharpton
she's the reason Al Sharpton became a household name. She's a nurse. I'm not kidding. And she's never recanted that bullshit story. She made up this. It was a huge deal when I was a kid in high school because, because they, I mean, basically, what was that book, A Time to Kill? John Grisham novel. Do you remember that? The novel.
I remember the movie just because it's Samuel L. Jackson. But
yeah, Samuel. Anyway, it was a novel that sucked balls, but everybody read it because it was the thing to read. It was kind of like Dan Brown. Everybody read the Da Vinci Code, or they said they did. But anyway, it was kind of like a version of that, like where these stereotypical white people, raped and shit on this, poor teenage black girl. And anyway, you were talking about the quality of nurses, and I said, well, yeah, that's what she became. I think she's a single mom too. Big surprise.
Oh, I'm shocked.
The gift that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just keeps on giving.
Actually, I just Googled Tawana Brawley, and in addition to working as a nurse, she also apparently has converted to Islam.
I don't know if that's true. Is that really true?
Right.
According to Wikipedia. And she also lives in Virginia now, which gives me another reason to avoid that godforsaken state.
Okay, the Islam thing I didn't hear. I would double check on that because I think she was well. Who gives a shit what she was raised? But I don't know. Like single mothers in Islam, does that really go? I mean, one thing you can say about the Islamist is the Islamist women. They're not as quick to spread their legs, are they? I mean,
well, for some reason, and it's especially.
I'm not defending Islam, but you get my.
Well, no, I mean, but it's very common. Islam in America is sold as the black religion for some reason, which is, I mean, if you know about the history of Islam, especially fucking hilarious and ironic.
Yeah, that's which is hilarious. They sell Christianity as it's a white man's slave master religion.
Yeah, it's Christianity be holding you down. Never mind the whole history of Islam.
Well, the funny thing is that Arabs are got to be the most racist people against blacks you can ever meet.
Oh yeah, and the Quran is overtly racist against black people.
There's actually a passage.
I can never make sense of that book. I tried.
There's actually a passage in the Hadith that puts people to death for even saying that Muhammad was even remotely black.
But yeah, it's nasty. But my point is I don't know. I don't see Aurora Snow converting to Islam, but I don't know.
She banged all those Black Panthers. Isn't that close enough?
You keep bringing up that disgusting image. I don't know why you keep doing that.
He's advertising for the new Black Panther movie.
But I missed the beginning of your show. Did she do something newsworthy or something?
No. We were talking about retard sex, so it came up. No, what the reason that one sticks in my mind
really like
because
the live stream. You'll really like it.
The reason that sticks in my mind is the first time I saw Aurora Snow, I thought, oh, she's pretty cute, and I'll check out her videos. This was when I was still engaging in the porn a bit, and so I check out her videos, and it was like the third one that came up, and I'm like, done.
Yeah, that triple anal scene was just too much for you.
I was so offended by it that as soon as I got done jerking off, I shut the computer down. It was like, that's enough.
Luke, you got to Photoshop Aurora Snow onto that Black Panther poster. We got to meme that, bro. It's already doing pretty poorly. Like the reviews aren't very good. People aren't looking forward to it. But if we put Aurora Snow onto the cover and hashtag that and tweet it out and I don't know, toss it onto 4chan or something, that might just pick up enough steam to really.
I called, but
yes.
Speaking of Black Panther, because it's not going to do that well. I called it. I said, look, this is what's going to happen here. It's going to make money because Avengers is a very recognizable and profitable brand, but it's going to make like Ant-Man money. And all these SJWs were pimping it as, oh, it's going to do so great. It's going to do so great. We can't wait. It's a C-list Avengers character, and it's going to do C-list Avenger character money. And that's good. And everyone's going to cry racism, when again, well, then I guess everybody's racist against Ant-Man. Because, not everybody who goes to the Avengers wants to go fucking see the D-list guys get their own movie.
Well, can I speak to that vein on Hollywood? I think I mentioned it in other chats, or you guys. The whole thing about these huge blockbuster movies, like these Avenger movies and stuff like that. They have what are their budgets? Like 350 million or something like that.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Their budgets are way too high, so they have to make all the money.
Yeah, and they've been over the years, they're not making the big bucks, right? So not only do they have to make more than how much they spent on paying them and advertising and all that other shit, they have to make money for their shareholders, right? Because these are all publicly traded corporations, right? So everything extra has to be the profits that they go into. So it seems like and that's all they're doing now is they have nothing else to fall back, and they don't have a deep bench as far as ideas.
Oh yeah, if not for Marvel and Star Wars, Hollywood would be in ruins. That's the only two things propping it up.
Well, my question is this, because I've kind of tuned out to I've been. I mean, this wasn't something just because of my politics. It was just because I felt that for the longest time, I felt that Hollywood movies were just. 95% of them were they just sucked. All right. I mean, for a lot of reasons, not just politics, just overall, I thought they sucked. I mean,
oh yeah.
No, I mean, plus the price, the
price
of a ticket is what is it pushing $20, and then you gotta, a fucking
for a soda.
A can of soda is $20. So no, I'm not doing that. And then where I live, a lot of the place theaters here, you have to pay for parking on top. Fuck that. That's insanity. So if I really want to see a movie, I'll just watch it at home. I got a projector and everything.
Oh, but, financially, it's not worth going to the movies. It's just, if you're taking a date or something, it's $20 just for the two tickets, easily. And I mean, if you wait 6 months, you can go to Target and buy the DVD for $20 and watch it as many times as you want.
Actually, yeah, I can speak to why, for example, concessions are so expensive at movie theaters. And my sister used to work at a movie theater when she was a teenager, and she told me this. The movie theaters actually take a loss on movie ticket sales. So they sell the concessions at a higher than normal price because that's where they make the money. They use the movies themselves as loss leaders to sell popcorn and soda.
No, I knew that. That's why they only get about 5% of the receipts for the tickets. Or some, or less, like you saying, it's a loss, depending on how you calculate, net or gross loss. I mean, that's kind of always been the case, but it's gotten so extreme now, and that's why. Have you ever noticed? Remember, there used to be individual large theaters, that had the 70 millimeter big screens, and for the most part, they've all disappeared, and now you all have these multiplexes where there's 17 screens in one location, that kind of thing. That's why. But I was also wanting to mention, I don't know if you saw that the Grammy Awards had record low numbers.
I was just about to bring that up, and again, this is sort of it's not quite the same thing, but it's sort of parallel to how Black Panther is going to do. For weeks, I saw all these articles about, isn't it so great that no white guys got Grammy nominations for album of the year or whatever. It's the most diverse ever Grammys, and it's the lowest rated. Now that isn't, it's, the more you push this left-wing horse shit, the more people are tuning out, and they're just not getting the message on that. I mean, we're likely going to have the lowest rated Super Bowl in easily
ever
20 years, possibly in the history of the Super Bowl. And I mean, now in my area, not so much because the Eagles are playing, and holy shit. I mean, wow. The people are excited.
Also, fuck Tom Brady.
Now, I hate to break it to him, but the NFL's rigged. That's basically been exposed at this point. So the Eagles are not just playing against the Patriots; they're also playing against the refs. Combine that with the Eagles' historical,
but the larger point, like you, I think you were kind of touching on this, is that the normies are tuning out. They're tuning out. Like the Oscars and have been going down in viewership for I think it was 12 years. I mean, not like huge numbers, but now it's getting big. Like now they're really starting to notice.
When something as bulletproof as the NFL is suffering as a result of this crap, you know there's a reckoning. I mean,
yeah, but the NFL could have gotten out of that. I mean, they
any of them could get out.
Whoever their PR firm was fucked it all up.
I mean, okay, well, there is sort of a dearth of talent at this point in Hollywood, but for the most part, they could pull their heads out of their asses and start actually making movies people want to see again that aren't just Marvel or reboots of something else. But they won't. It's the weird. They won't. Over and over again, you see these entertainment companies, and they're just insanely stupid. The video game company Blizzard is going out of its way to ban people from its online games. Like, they're going to look at your YouTube account and see if you said nigger in a comment thread somewhere, and they're going to ban you for that. And it's like, you're throwing away money, and they don't care. I can't explain it, but they just.
Well, these are for-profit corporations, though. I mean, why are they? I mean, they must be getting pressure from someone.
Well, they've been taken over by social justice and Reform Judaism.
To some extent, they are. The thing that is keeping a lot of this crap at bay in Hollywood, to the extent it is I mean, look, China may save Hollywood. It sounds kind of fucked up, but China may finally put the brakes on this bullshit from Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad
China's quite fond of watching American movies with, quote, pretty white people.
Yeah, but didn't they not like the new Star Wars movie?
Yeah, they didn't like the new Star Wars. They said, everyone is ugly and the movie's stupid.
Yeah, I'm glad that. Yeah, Luke just had the Chinese poster for Black Panther up, and you'll notice that they actually obscured the fact the hero is a black guy.
Yeah, they have him in full costume, and they don't have anybody, and they don't have it. Like,
the Chinese are not going to go see a movie with an all black cast and a black lead. And you see,
yeah, I just got to say,
I always talk about Marvel Comics, the actual comics. There are some higher ups at Disney that are starting to realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't let a bunch of 13-year-old girls from Tumblr run our comic book company. It's so bad that this is actually true. I just saw an article that there's a comic book based off the Frozen property, that Disney's Frozen, that is going to be published at Dark Horse Comics. DuckTales comic books and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and stuff like that are published at IDW. Disney doesn't trust the comic book company they own with their own Disney brand.
I mean, what do you mean? They licensed out the character to another company?
Yes, right here we got the cover of a new Frozen comic book that's published at Dark Horse Comics. Disney owns Marvel completely. And they're going to other comic book companies to publish comic books based off their Disney cartoons.
Yeah, they're afraid that Marvel's going to draw Elsa with a dick or something.
Yeah. Like I said, DuckTales and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and shit like that are all being published at IDW. Disney is slowly starting to move Star Wars over to IDW. They just launched a new Star Wars comic that's at IDW, not Marvel. Disney realizes Marvel's a dumpster fire right now. And, I mean, when you're Disney and you own a comic book company and you're like, yeah, but I'm not going to trust them with Donald Duck.
I guess it takes a lot to fuck up Donald Duck.
Yeah. When you're like, I don't know, they're going to make Donald Duck queer or something. We're not having none of this.
It's like transgender Donald. Man, you said that. You said in a stream that you had a buddy yours that was I think he worked in Hollywood, something to do with the film industry.
Yeah.
And he's
a director.
He was giving you the kind of like the lowdown on the current culture there. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, basically, due to all the Me Too bullshit, the traditional studio system is falling apart because all these men are afraid of these women accusing them, rightly or wrongly, of having groped them or jerked off in a potted plant in front of them, and nothing's getting done. And if you're just looking to get laid, if you're just a guy looking to meet girls, you're also fucked because of the situation. Women don't trust men in this scenario anymore. There's actually, if you read the blog Crazy Days and Nights, they have a lot of inside ball on what's going on in Hollywood. There was apparently this B-level kind of faded starlet who was actually complaining about this, and she was apparently quoted as saying shit like, "Look, sometimes I want to suck dick to get a role. How come no one ever thinks about me?"
Yeah, I mean, pussy and ass and dick were basically currencies in Hollywood, and you just put a stop to it's like shutting down the banks. You just brought Hollywood's economy to a screeching halt. No one can engage in transactions anymore there.
Yeah, it's like Marilyn Monroe apparently said when she got famous, "I'll never have to suck another Jewish dick again."
Yeah. She said that as advice to another up and coming girl at a party or something. Like,
she supposedly said that after she fucked John F. Kennedy. She said, "And that should be the last dick I have to suck."
Well, I think yeah. Well, she was sucking his dick out of pleasure because he wasn't going to give her a movie role.
We got a super chat here. 5 Australian buckaroos. If Disney is moving away from Disney, I honestly think it's a clear sign that they're going to sell it. And so I think he means if Disney is moving away from Marvel. Oh, no, they're not going to sell it. It's very valuable to own Spider-Man and the Hulk and the Avengers and all this other shit. But at a certain point, they're going to send somebody into Marvel.
I think what he might mean is it's valuable, yes. So that means I think what he's trying to say is that it's losing its value. It's like a stock that's dropping.
They might, but I don't know. I think there's all sorts of indications, and you've seen slow turnarounds. I think there's people at Disney that are trying to undo all this diversity shit at Marvel without looking like that's what they're doing. In other words, they're trying to back out of it and save face. They're trying to.
I think because you have such a love of this genre that you want to believe that.
I do, but also there's all these articles, there's all this hinting around. There's a lot of two steps forward, one step backwards, moving away from this shit. I think that they're trying to move away from it, and I think that the higher ups at Disney just haven't accepted the fact that they have to clean house. That so long as a lot of these guys are there, like Mark Waid and Dan Slott, it's not going to happen. You just have to get rid of them. Basically, almost everyone at Marvel has to go.
Yeah, but as soon as they did that, though, they'd be cries of.
That's the thing. They're trying. I really think, and I don't even know if they'll be able to do it, but I really think that there's higher ups at Disney that are trying to figure out how can we get rid of these people without it looking like we're getting rid of these people. I think that's why it's a slow process.
Well, I'm sure the bean counters think that way. The guys that are actually, dollars and cents guys, they want their stock to go up. But
yeah, because I mean, look, I realized that they didn't buy Marvel Comics to sell comic books. They bought Marvel Comics to make movies and cartoons and video games and sell T-shirts and action figures and make amusement park rides. I get that. The actual comic books are a drop in the bucket. But at the same time, there are people at Disney smart enough to realize if the comic books are sucking dick for too long, eventually nobody's going to want to go see those movies or watch those shows or ride those rides or wear those shirts or buy those toys. And I mean, hell, they've seen how. I bet you that Episode 9 for Star Wars is probably already seeing massive rewrites. I think that may have been a wake up call. Again, it depends on whether or not the greed of actually wanting to make money outweighs the leftist relentless desire to march directly into Cthulhu's Maw.
Well, we don't have to go all the way we don't have to go all the way to Episode 9. Apparently, the Han Solo spin-off movie that's supposed to be coming out later this year is already a massive clusterfuck because they had to fire the directors, I think, with like a month of shooting left to go because the directors thought Disney was fucking it all up.
Yeah, that's supposed to come out in May, and I have yet to see a commercial for it.
They haven't even put out a preview trailer. There's nothing on that movie.
I keep
It's like
forgetting that's a
vaporware
thing.
at this point.
It's like an urban legend at this point.
Well, it's going to be an awful movie because they probably had to, it's going to get edited to death. It's not going to make any sense. It's going to be so convoluted because all these different directors and writers and editors are, going to chop it to
If
pieces.
they actually decide to push it and maybe push it to a Christmas release, maybe they'd have time to save it. But if they're bound and determined to pump that shit out by May, there's no way.
Well,
There's no way in hell.
Well, they may be doing to it like what happened with Superman 2, where they fire the old directors, put a new guy in, and then he goes and reshoots everything, even stuff that doesn't need to be reshot, just because he wants his precious director's credit.
Yeah, but at least Superman 2 had that guy playing Zod, who just, I mean, if nothing else, you could enjoy watching him chew the scenery for a while.
Wait, Zod or Zog?
Zod.
Oh, I always thought it was Zog, but that would be funny.
No,
No, you're thinking about the
Kneel
series.
before Zog.
No, it's not Kneel before Zog. That's the real one.
Before Zod. Yeah, that's real life, Matt. We're talking about the movies. It's Zod in the movies.
It's not as bad as
It's Zog in real life.
Why does the
President Neil
Kryptonian
before
need
Zod.
power armor?
Wait, what's this, Davis?
Why does the Kryptonian need power armor?
I don't know.
I just don't. These movies they're not realistic, man.
You're asking for realism in a movie about a guy who comes, an alien with superpowers?
I will say I actually agree that I think superhero costumes in movies are often over-designed, and it's always kind of bugged me.
Consistency. Davis means consistency.
I mean, as much as I like the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, it's like, this college kid not only managed to sew together a decent-looking costume, it's hard enough to imagine he could sew together a spandex costume, let alone that weird thing from the Tobey Maguire movies where it's got like raised metallic webbing and it looks like some fucking space-age NASA fabric.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek where Captain Picard's always running out of dilithium crystals. I mean, like the things are like yay big, man. Just put a few in a cargo hold. Like every episode, Picard's like, Riker, go find dilithium crystals, and they have to have sex with an alien. I don't get it, man. It's not realistic.
No, it's kind of like saying that, the trouble with Shakespeare is too many cliches. Did you guys see Nancy Pelosi's meltdown on CNN yesterday?
I've heard people talking about it. She was supposedly particularly crazy-eyed, and that's something. I mean, because that woman just reeks batshit crazy on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think she's. I think dementia is really starting to kick. Well, how old is she? Someone's really fast typer. How old is she?
187.
Okay, she looks about it.
Here's what liberals don't understand. Trump isn't actually orange. It's the anti-liberal radiation that only liberals can see rotting their brains that makes him look orange.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. Apparently, I can't get confirmation of this. The memo is actually going to be released after the State of the Union.
That's what
right after.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
They're releasing the memo tonight? I heard.
Yes.
But doesn't he have to...
well, that's what I heard. I don't have
The
confirmation.
president has to do to...
Well, it'd be a great way to upstage the Democratic response. Like he comes and speaks, he speaks, then he releases the memo, and nobody will give a shit what that redheaded fucking that ginger mutant has to say.
Who's giving the rebuttal?
Joe Kennedy.
Oh fuck.
That's a name that really says youth and the progressive. A name that's only relevant to boomers.
I just got a super chat saying play that video I sent you. Somebody sent me a video on Skype. Luke, I don't know what this is. Might want to check it out.
You might want to watch it before you play it.
Yeah, it's a Roar
Snow.
It's a Roar Snow's pinworms.
Okay, so it's heiress to Disney fortune complains she gets to keep $20 million inheritance tax free. Wow.
You can pay more than you want to,
Yeah, go ahead and send half of it. How about, bitch, send half of it to me then? How about that? That'll assuage your guilt.
Yeah.
PayPal.me/the Bechtloff. Send that shit right in there, and you will be guilt-free. I will absolve you of your white privilege.
Come to him.
Your money.
Come to Bechtloff, my babies. Let him heal your pain.
Yeah, you send that shit right my way. Hell, you know what? You could even be a Patreon supporter for $1 million a month. How about that?
And you'll never feel guilty again.
You'll never feel guilty again.
Well, anyway, that's pretty much it. So are you guys? Who's going to be doing? Are you doing a stream after the?
Horny is doing a stream afterwards. I got to go to bed here shortly because I got to get up at the ass crack of dawn. Actually, I got to get up well before the ass crack of dawn. I got to get up at the lower back of dawn.
All right, the lower back. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. Interesting talking to you, and look forward to Forney's post State of the Union wrap up.
Yeah, I'll look forward to watching it tomorrow.
All right, peace out, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Thank everybody, especially my Australian friend there for the super chats. And also, if you enjoy the show, you enjoy the content I'm producing, you can check out the PayPal, hit me with a one-time donation. You can become a regular supporter on the Patreon. And probably going to set up a wish list here soon, too, just because the more ways people can donate, the more convenient.
You'll also be able to donate to Bechtloff very soon in cryptocurrency.
Yes,
you'll be able to get
that up too.
We got Dogecoin, Bitcoin, DSB coin,
Sonic rings, Chaos emeralds, the whole 9 yards.
Confederate bills, oxen.
Christian coin.
Is that a thing?
Ringworms.
We need to make it a thing.
Pinworm coin. Yeah, so
flow from the kitchen. It's just Aurora Pinwormy Alice.
We should get one. We should get like an. We need to get like an. We need to get an Ethereum programmer and make this shit a reality.
Pinworm coin. Yeah. So everybody, thank you all for listening. Forney, Davis, Luke, thanks all for being on here.
And don't forget to check out my stream tonight in a couple hours.
Yeah, do check out Forney's stream. Check out the State of the Union. Enjoy the leftist tears. And yeah, that's all we got for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. Bechtloff out.